Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Thanksgiving Day slate picks show, picks against the spread, totals, player props, and what everyone came here for, the pay for Christmas Thanksgiving Day parlay. Joined with me, the real Danny Dimes at Dan_Lavin. Dan, how do you feel about this 3-game offering from the NFL and anything Thanksgiving related?
What's going on, brother? Thank you for having me back. I am pumped. Love Thanksgiving football even more. Just ready to get into it.
Absolutely. Well, let's not waste any time. 12:30 Eastern, live from the sold-out Ford Field in Detroit. We have the 7-3 Buffalo Bills laying 9.5 points on the road. The Lions 4-6. This total opened up at 52.5, and the over has just got smashed. Quick money coming in. It's now at 54.5. Yeah, well, we're on opposite sides on this one to start things off. I'll lead this one off. I'm going to be on the Lions in this game. Right now, you're probably going to get a 10 at some point here. I'm going to buy this up to 10.5 for Detroit. You can get that right now at FanDuel at minus 122. Listen, the thought process was a little bit difficult in this one, but for me, 10 games this year, the Bills have only covered this number 4 times. And the most recent time was against Green Bay, and it landed exactly on the 10. The Lions, meanwhile, have covered 3 straight games, and they've covered this number at every home game they've had. You know, they've lost to the Eagles, the Vikings, the Seahawks, and the Dolphins all by 4 points or less. There's just something different about this Detroit team when they're at home. You know, the 2 blowout losses they had, back-to-back road games on their schedule. They were at the Patriots, at Dallas. Other than those 2 games throughout the season, this team has been competitive, and with those 4 teams I just mentioned, all probably playoff teams, if not division winners, it just seems to me like Detroit can hang around. Now, obviously, this is not, something you're going to be excited when you press that accept bet button. You could be halfway through your first beer of the day and, Buffalo's up 14-0 in the first quarter. I would like to live bet this if Buffalo did get up and get even a better number on Detroit. I like the 10.5. I'm going to take it. What are your thoughts on this one?
So you mentioned the Patriots and the Cowboys, and that was actually the big deciding factor for me on this. If you go back through the Lions games, except for week 1 against the Eagles, they just can't put up points against good defenses. Against the Patriots, they put up 0 points. Against the Cowboys, they put up 6. So I'm on the Bills right here. I think the 9.5, obviously it's a big number, but I think they're going to cover it relatively easily. And I also like the under 54. I really don't think the Lions are going to be able to put up points. So we'll see what they do on Thursday. But I'm very excited for this game.
You make some great points there. If I did have to play a total, I'm only going to give a side in this, but if I did have to play a total, I would be scared, but I would go opposite up from you on this one. Once again, there's just something about this Detroit team when they're at home, when they're in a dome, and they don't have to battle with the elements of the weather as well. This Lions team at home, they've soared over this total in every home game they've had, except for when they played the Packers. When they beat the Packers, you remember that game, Aaron Rodgers threw 2 or 3 red zone picks. Just terrible football to watch that day, 3 of them, yeah. Once again, I like Detroit at home. Obviously, it's tough to do. I'm going to buy the point. I'm going to get it to 10.5. I think this game very well could land right on that 10 number, and I'd rather have the half point, pay an extra 10 cents in juice, and be on the winning side and not a push if it's in a parlay. Do you have anything else to add on this one?
No, I think that's it.
Okay. Quickly, now, since these games are on Thursday, they do give out practice reports. Now, these aren't true practice reports. These players aren't practicing or not practicing. This is if we had practice, this is what the reports would be. So, that being said, it's going to be the same for all 3 games that we go through. For the Lions, Jeff Okudah, now, he's probably not going to play. He's their first-round pick at cornerback. He's out with a concussion. Right guard, Evan Brown, got an ankle injury. That's new. That happened last week. While Malcolm Rodriguez and DeAndre Swift were full participants. As far as the Bills go, Tremaine Edwards, the middle linebacker, he would be a do not practice if he suited up. Jordan Poyer, I wasn't aware of this. He actually will probably be starting this game. It'll be his first time back, I believe, in a few games. And then Josh Allen limited, but we all know he's going to go. So that is the first game on the slate.
Jordan Poyer's big. That's big for the Bills.
Oh, I agree 100%. I mean, that tandem, that safety tandem is probably one of the best in the NFL, which is worrying. I don't know. It's a tough one. I understand your side of the Bills. I'm thinking, like I said before, this could land right on 10. And you could cash yours and I could cash mine. So that would be the ideal situation. We'll move forward. I think it's like 4:30 Eastern. We have a NFC East showdown with the 7-3 Giants taking on the 7-3 Cowboys. Once again, 9.5-point spread in this one with Dallas laying the points. Total 45.5. This total opened up at 43.5. I thought it was a good number. Somehow it's been bet up. I don't understand the love towards the over in this game. And that's where my pick's going to be to start in this game. I don't really want to lay aside. I mean, can you remember the last time we've seen two 7-3 teams, divisional teams, and one was almost a double-digit favorite?
No, I really can't.
I don't. I was looking at that and I'm going through these. I'm like, geez, these teams have the same exact records.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go. You lead off on this one. What's your pick on this game? Is it a side, a total?
So, I mean, I hate both of these teams as an Eagles fan, but right now I'm siding with the Giants. I don't think you could possibly be buying higher on the Cowboys, and you really couldn't be buying lower on the Giants right now, having just gotten smacked up by the Lions. So I think Dave was going to have that team ready to go. I mean, none of us thought they would be doing what they have done this entire year. None of us had, from week 4 on, didn't think they could continue it, but they just have been in every single game. I think they might be down by double digits or 2 scores, leading into the 4th quarter, and then just like the way the Giants do, they somehow crawl their way back in at the end. So I think they could cover this 9.5-point spread, but it could very easily get away from them fast here.
Yeah, all great points. If I'm going to attack a total here, if I did have to take a side, I'd grab the points as well. Divisional opponents, a short week. You never like laying points in that situation, let alone almost, it's 2 scores. I'm going to go with the under 45.5. I've already locked this in. When I'm attacking a total, I like to go through the entire season and see how often we're even close to this number, right? The Giants have only gone over this number twice all year, the 45.5. So anything under 46 points, they've only done it twice. And I mean, we're not even really close. A lot of these games are not even cracking 40 points. The same can be said about the Cowboys. The Cowboys also have only gone over this total twice in the 10 games they have played. So these 2 combined teams are 16-4 to the under, yet the books are moving this from 43 to 45. I don't understand it. I don't know if money's coming in on it or it's a trap spot. That being said, I'm on it. I played it. I'm on the under 45.5. I don't think it goes any higher. I mean, obviously getting a 46 would be great, but I don't understand why the action is going towards it. It seems like the money should be on the under. These 2 teams played in week 3. Dallas won by 7 points. And in that game, there was, once again, under 40 total points. I'm getting 45.5. I'll take it. What's your look here?
Yeah, I like that a lot. Like I said, I'm just on the Giants. I'm going to stay off the total for this game, but that's a great point. I like that a lot.
One other thing, I do have a player prop in this game. It will be Daniel Jones over the 37.5. Now, this is out on DraftKings right now. I'm going to be interested to see where FanDuel lays it. Sometimes these books are 3, 4, 5 yard separation. I mean, look, he's had 79 yards in his last meeting against the Giants on 9 attempts, or against the Cowboys on 9 attempts in that Week 3 game. And if this pass rush does get to him, if Micah Parsons is there, if DeMarcus Lawrence is there, if these guys are crushing the pocket and these tackles of New York can't hold up, Danny's going to have to run. He's going to have to get out of there. He's going to have to make plays. I think we can get to this over 37.5 by halftime, honestly.
You did pretty well for me with the Saquon over a week ago, so I mean, I'll ride with you on that too.
Yeah, I mean, from now on, it's just a blind fade. Any running back going against the Houston Texans, as long as it's not a split backfield, just take their over, especially when you have an elite guy like he was. The practice reports, like I mentioned, not real practice reports, but a couple things that really stood out to me here. Dallas. Nearly all their key starters would not have practiced if they had to practice today. Anthony Barr, linebacker, Dante Fowler, Kelvin Joseph, the corner, DeMarcus Lawrence, and Micah Parsons all would not have practiced today if they did have to practice. What does it mean? I don't know. These fake reports, if they did have to practice, I don't even know how much weight could be put into them, but I thought it was key mentioning with a Dallas team that does clearly need to rely on their defense to have those key players out.
Could also just be Jerry Jones like a mess with everybody down there. You never know.
It could be. That's kind of like what Bill Belichick would do. He would put out an injury report with nobody on it or the entire team on it. And now, after you've had your turkey, you've had your stuffing, you've had your gravy, You've had a couple cocktails. We are finally at the night game, which scares me for my pick here. We have the New England Patriots 6-4 at the Minnesota Vikings 8-2. Vikings laying 2.5 points in this game with a total of 42.5. Why don't you kick this one off, Dan?
Let me paint you a little picture here. You've already had your turkey, had your pumpkin pie. You sit down on the couch, unbutton that button, relax a little bit, and do the thing that 95% of NFL fans love, which is watch the Patriots lose. I think the Vikings are in a huge bounce-back spot here. We all know the Patriots' offense is terrible. It is just brutal to watch. I got the Vikings minus 2.5, and I hate betting on primetime Kirk Cousins, but I don't see how you could not be on the Vikings here.
That's my worry, right? Primetime game. They couldn't have put this fucking game at 4 o'clock. Have the Giants and Cowboys play at 8? No, they got to mess with our heads here. I'm also on the Vikings here. This will be on my parlay as well, and a straight bet. I'm going through this. I'm trying to find an angle, right? I'm trying to see something other people aren't seeing. I'm going through the schedule. I mean, and it's disgusting. I mean, you look at the Vikings, right? Notable wins. They go to Miami, beat Miami, a playoff team. They go to Buffalo, beat Buffalo. Now, granted, you could say, hey, Josh fumbled the ball in the end zone. Well, guess what? He was only on the end zone because on 4th and 1, Kirk Cousins couldn't sneak it in. So either way, that's a coin flip play. They go to Buffalo. They play great. They beat there. Then that's a Super Bowl favorite right now. Every sports book in the world has Buffalo as a favorite. You look at the Patriots. Who are their notable wins? Fucking nobody. The Patriots' 6 wins right now? I'll read them off to you. The Steelers in Week 2. The Lions, the Browns, the Jets twice, and the Colts when Frank Reich decided to bench Matt Ryan and start Sam Ehlinger. Those are the Patriots' fucking wins. This is a team that through almost 50 minutes of football had 3 points up against the Jets, and if it wasn't with 18 seconds left at punt return, they would have been in overtime again with Zach Wilson, who only put up 150 yards and couldn't complete any passes. Now, I know what everybody says. Bill Belichick takes away your best guy. Who's their best guy? Justin Jefferson, right? And that's the scariest spot. Vikings have only lost 2 games all year. Dallas last week, where JJ only got 5 targets, only had 3 receptions. Kirk couldn't get the ball away. Dallas defense was just in his grill all day. And then the Eagles in week 2. Darius Slay kind of had him. He did have 6 receptions, 48 yards. But if Justin Jefferson does not have a day, it seems like the common denominator with this team, they don't win. So I'm going to think... What's that?
So that's scary. It's scary to think about when you're taking the Vikings, but...
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what's scarier, that or Kirk Cousins primetime.
Yeah.
The
other thing I wanted to point out, I don't know if his props have been released yet, but I like Judon, his sack over, because, you just saw that O-line get bullied by the Cowboys on Sunday. Micah Parsons was basically doing whatever he wanted, so that's definitely something to look at. I think between Kirk in prime time and that O-line holding up, I think those are really the things you just have to worry about. But as long as we can get those done, I think the Vikings have an easy win here. But we'll see. It's never easy, against the Patriots.
Yeah, no, it's a great point, the Judon sack. I mean, you gotta imagine it's gonna be minus 150, if not worse, right? Maybe even 2-1. Matthew Judon, he is playing into a Defensive Player of the Year role right now. I mean, he could break TJ Watt's sack record this year. Let's see here. Yeah, I mean, that's basically it. Small slate, 3 games. Did you have any player props or anything you didn't get to mention on the show that you did like?
No, just Judon. I gotta see what that drops at. I think I might take him at over 1.5 if it's plus. You get like plus 180 on that or something. So we'll see what happens there.
Yeah, no, you will get plus money on the over 1.5. And it's a great look. So now, best part of the show, Pay for Christmas Thanksgiving Day Parlay, a.k.a. Pay for Christmas the Turkey Day Parlay. 3 picks from me. I'll start it off. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take the Lions plus the 10.5. Once again, all the same reasons I put forward. Bills only covered the number 4 times. The Lions covered this number at every game at home. I like it. Give me the under 45.5. Same reasons statistically on the year. Under 45.5 in the Giants and Cowboys game. And then I'm going to round it out and probably be sweating it if we make it there. The Vikings minus 2.5. And you know what I like about this? Taking the Lions in the 10.5. Minus 122. It's not even that much juice. It's not bad. You're going to get that on a lot of just straight up lines. But if for some reason I lose this, I can rebuild right away. Just go harder on the second 2 games and try to have something. But that's not what we want. We want to cash this thing. 3 legs comes out at plus 541. Bet 1 turkey, win 5.5 turkeys. Dan, who is your pay for Christmas Thanksgiving Day parlay?
I'm going bold here. I got all my picks on. I got, Bills minus 9.5. I got the under 54.5 in that game. Giants plus 9.5 and the Vikings minus 2.5. We got that at 11:26 right now on FanDuel, so I'm excited for that. We'll see. It's risky, but I like it.
Hey, I feel like a chump here, giving out only plus 550 plays. Danny Dimes coming in with a plus 1,100. And to recap, that was Bills minus the 9.5, the under in the Bills game, under in the second game, and Vikings minus 2.5.
Giants, not the under.
Giants on the points. Gotcha. Okay. Well, hey, there you have it. Thanks for joining us again here. Dan, you're the man. Throw him a follow on Twitter at Dan_Lavin. We're going to bring this show to you every year on Thanksgiving. 3 games, 3 picks, 1 parlay, and let's pay for Christmas. Dan, you got anything for everybody else before we head out?
Just happy Thanksgiving. Appreciate everyone tuning in.
Happy Thanksgiving. Let's get that cash. Let's cash one of these things. And don't worry about them fucking presents. Don't worry about that eggnog. Just sit down, open up your app, and have a great day. And food, family, fun, all that other stuff. The last F, the most important F, is football. I love you.
100%.
Dan, thank you, brother.